So this is the video for task 15, and the task says, begin by noting ideas down onto the task 15 manuscript paper as you play them. Then write it up neatly once you've finished. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to plan everything out on the manuscript paper first. Then I'll start to create some musical ideas. Then once I'm happy with how everything's organised, I'll write it up. So it says compose an 8-bar melody in 4/4. So I'll start at the top, treble clef, 4/4, and it's got to be an 8-bar melody. Okay, it says also that you must write it in A major. So A major has got 3 sharps in the key signature, and the sharps, you've got to get the sharps in the right order. Father, Charles, goes. There we go. So you've got to draw those sharp signs in the right place. So we've got to feature at least one of the advanced rhythmic devices in task 14 and structure it with an A, B, B, C, C and D, D. Okay, well the rhythmic device I'm going to use to begin with is going to be dotted notes. Okay, so I've made a note of that. And I need this structure, I need to keep this in mind. So it's going to go A, B, B, C, C, D, D, with 1 bar per letter. So actually I only need to write a 1-bar rhythm for A, a 1-bar rhythm for B, a 1-bar rhythm for C, and a 1-bar rhythm for D, and then they're repeated each time. So that's really important. But I also have to ensure that there's a sense of balance in shape and rhythm between the 4 different melodic phrases, A, B, C and D. So to create this sense of balance and shape means that if I have a phrase that, say, is this general shape, then I would either choose to have the same shape again or as have the opposite shape. I probably wouldn't, to make it balance, go up, down, because that's not, it doesn't reflect, it's not balance against that first phrase shape. Just in the same way that rhythm, I'm going to use the same types of rhythms and the same groups of notes. I'm not necessarily going to have the same rhythm in each of A, B, C and D, but I'm going to have some of the same features. So I could start by thinking about rhythmic groups that I might include. So I quite like that, and I quite like that as a feature. Okay, so I could choose those two just to begin with as like they're going to be my rhythmic features within this rhythm that I'm going to create. And then finally, the music must be unfinished at the end of bar 4 and finished at the end of bar 8. So I'll just leave it myself a note there, end of 4, unfinished, end of 8, finished. So for that reason, I need to be thinking about cadences straight away. So if I'm in A major, then I will finish in A major. And if what's chord 5 in A major, well, it's E major. So I'm just going to leave that up there as a reminder for the moment. So you can see across the screen there's already quite a lot of different considerations within this little project. Okay, so I'm going to start by writing a 1-bar rhythm, but I'm going to think about these things down here. So 1-bar rhythm could be like that. In fact, let me just include both of those. So that rhythm is dum, dum, da, 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 dum, dum. Yeah, okay, I like that. So that's going to be my A. So that would follow on with another A straight away. So for the moment, I'll just put times 2 there. Okay, so let's just hear what that would sound like together. Okay. Okay, so I'm going into my B section now. I'm wanting to write something that balances against that. So it's got some relationship to it, but it isn't the same as A. That's really important. So I'm going to take the lemonade and put that towards the beginning. I'm going to introduce a coffee there. Lemonade, coffee, lemonade, tea. So notice I haven't used the dotted rhythm in this idea, but it doesn't matter so much, and that would be played twice as well. So let's listen to that rhythm. Good, I'm happy with that so far. Now in the C rhythm, so this is a different structure to the A, B, A, C that you've been writing for other tasks. So we've got to be different again. So this time, let's draw on that dotted idea from the beginning. But we'll have a few dotted notes together. Dun, da, dun, da, 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 dun, da. Let's try that again from the beginning. And then we've got to somehow make it sound finished at the end. And I think, actually, I don't need a longer note than a crotchet. So I'm going to end my rhythm just to make sure it's using the longest note, because I have used lots of semiquaver shorter notes here. So that rhythm there, let's go back to where we were at the beginning, where we're using a dotted rhythm and our other feature. Okay, so that should be the rhythm all the way through. Let's try it. Da, 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 da. So I'm happy with that as a rhythm. And even if you've maybe been used to developing melody ideas by starting with melody notes as well as rhythmic notes, I'd really encourage you just to really focus in. This task is so much about the rhythm and about starting to use one of those advanced rhythmic features that it's helpful to compose in this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is record that into GarageBand. So here we are in a GarageBand session, and I'm going to record this rhythm that I've just written. So first of all, I need to set the tempo. So tapped on settings at the top corner, go to tempo, and I'm going to tap to set the tempo because I've just been used to tapping this rhythm, dum, dum, da, 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 da. So instead of working out what number it is, I just tap to set tempo by tapping on that 4 times and thinking about the rhythm. Da, 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 da. And it's worked it out at 76 beats per minute. Press play just to try that out. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's good. So we're going to record this now. Here we go. I'm going to record it all on an A, by the way, because we're going to be in A major later. Okay, now as we went along I made a mess because I was concentrating on looking at the music and trying not to look at my finger on the A at the same time, but it didn't make too much of a difference. So rather than recording the whole thing again, I'll show you how to edit it. So in the top left corner, let's go to the mix button first, because we know that our shortest note value is a semiquaver. So we can go into quantization and 1/16th note. So it should just about solve the problems that we've got. Let's listen to it back and just to check it. Sometimes it's helpful just to double tap and go to edit so that we can watch the rhythm as it goes along. Don't worry about making the lengths of the notes their full length, because obviously I'm very interested in the human element of this composition. Okay, so it's that bit I need to fix. Bar 5. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to record that bit again. So at bar 5, I can tap on it. You notice I've put my play line in that place. I can press split, and then I'll move it along to bar 7. Select it again. Oops, I didn't split it, did I? So click on split and then pull your finger down where the scissors appear. Okay, so it splits the track. So same again. Tap split and then pull your finger down, just like that. And then double tap on that section and press delete. So we've now got this gap to fill. As I said in previous videos, if you just try to record on the same track, you can go over your work. So double tap on the piano at the beginning and go to duplicate. And now I've got the same instrument underneath. And I'm ready to record that bars 5 and 6, which is section C. So here we go, let's record it. Or automatically it will take the quantization value from the track above when you duplicate it. So all you need to do now is just shuffle that back into place, check it just goes vertically. And let's play from a bar before. Okay, good. So I've recorded my rhythm into GarageBand. So the next thing I need to do, I'm going to work on, I'm going to use my my GarageBand to try and work out some shapes of melodies. Now this is up to you how you do it. It could be that you feel confident enough to play the notes on the piano at the bottom there, so to work out a melody and then to put your notes on the paper that we were using before. Or it could be that you feel more confident moving the notes around on the edit window, and it doesn't really matter. You can do it either way, it would be fine. But just remember that if you're working on bar A at the beginning, the second version of bar A has to be identical. Just be careful not to make them longer. At this point, I should have said this before, you really must be aware of which notes are in the A major scale, because you're writing in A major. So we'll note them down later on the video, but just for the moment you need to remember there's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp and A. Let's listen to that so far. Okay, so that note, for example, is wrong because it's an F, and I don't want to use any accidentals yet. So I'm going to put it up onto the F sharp. So you can see this shape I've created, it's like an arch, or like a rainbow. That's good, I quite like that. Okay, so let's make that shape again. Very joyful music, sounds like somebody's dancing. Remember that F sharp at the top. Okay, let's listen to it again. I don't want to come back to the tonic or the note 1 yet, because I want to save that for a bit later. So I'll go back up to note 5. we'll use the range up there a little bit. Let's listen to the previous end of the previous bar and into the next one. It's a bit too much of a jump, that. Now we need to remember that at the end of bar 4, which is going to be the same as the end of bar 3, needs to sound unfinished. So we want a note from the E major chord, which is E, G sharp, B. I think for the moment I'm going to go for, well, maybe I'll go for a B for the moment. Let's see what that sounds like. It might be a bit too down, up, down, up. Well, I like the end of it. This bit at the top's not so great though. Now I don't like that because it loses momentum and loses flow because I've used the same note one after the other here. Let's go back up to that F sharp. Whoops. No, I don't like the F sharp either. Right. That might work. It's a bit of a smoother shape. Yes, I like it. Right, so I've got to copy that into the next bar. So the first one, it was the E, and then the D, C sharp, back up to the D. Notice I'm not using a very, very wide range of notes here, just to keep control of the melody. There we go, let's listen from the beginning. Okay, good. Okay, so I feel like, well, the rhythm, we've already talked about that balancing. So I need to now make sure that the shape balances as well. So I'm going to take my cue from the first 2 bars here. And in these first 2 bars, I've got this arc shape where it starts at the bottom, goes up and then comes down. So I'm going to do the opposite of that to balance it. So I need to start high up, or highest up in the range at the beginning of my C. Notice I try to go by step where possible within the scale of A major. Yeah. Now, I said before about not having the same note after each other, but as it is there, it feels like it's almost like an announcement, and I quite like that. I quite like that as a feature. So if it's for a particular purpose, you can absolutely do it with no problem at all. Oops, we've gone wrong a bit here. Let's just put that one back up there. There we go, let's listen from the beginning. Really like that. Now I need to bring this home now, and I wonder whether I could have maybe taking the inspiration from the perfect cadence And now I've not used anything below an A, so I maybe won't do again for this. So, but taking inspiration from the perfect cadence, I'm thinking about a note that is in chord 5, so E, G sharp or B, before I go to finish on an A. I definitely want to finish on an A because it's in A major. So, okay, now let's just check the shape of bars 5 and 6, because I almost kind of want to go to the opposite of that. You can see that they're kind of like U shape, so I'm going to go for that original arch like I had before. So let's... So the other reason you might choose to repeat a note like I've done at the start there is to make sure that you then have just one scale note up to get to whichever note you've put at the top. Except I don't like it this time. There's just not enough room. It just stops the flow too much. So instead, I'm going to use the F sharp again and just make the curve a little bit higher up. And I'm quite happy with that. So let's just edit it in the final bar. Okay, that should be that. Let's listen all the way through. Yeah, okay. Now, I just need to look back to what I was trying to do. I was trying to make an 8-bar melody, which I've done. It was supposed to be an A major, it certainly is. It sounded unfinished in the middle and finished at the end, which it is. And it needs to have the structure A, B, B, C, C, D, D, which it does. Are my phrases balanced in shape? Yes, they are, because I've thought about the shape of them and how they might match or be opposites. Are the rhythms balanced as well? Yes, because I've used different versions of the same rhythm. So in essence, everything feels like it's part of the same thing. Okay, so that is task 15. And the next thing I need to do is write it out. Just before I finish this video, let me show you something else though. If you wanted to use the keyboard down here to work things out, and you were thinking about and you wanted to just think about that rhythm and play live on the notes. So there's another version, but you weren't confident yet in knowing which notes were in the A major scale, then this is a really nice thing that GarageBand have created. So all you do is tell the GarageBand you're working in A major, which you can do in the settings wheel at the top. And where it says key signature, just under time signature, you can change that to A major. Now the reason that that's so helpful, if we just tap off the side, is now when you click on the button at the bottom that says scale, you have a choice of scales to follow, and if you choose major, then it creates this new style keyboard for you that only has the notes in the A major scale. So I think that's really neat, because if you're not a confident keyboard player yet, or you're not confident with remembering which notes are in that scale, you actually can't go wrong. You can't play a note that's not in the scale on this. So that's really, really helpful. So whichever way you choose to write your ideas down and to try and to make little melodic ideas, it doesn't matter. Just find the way that works for you. Always focus on what you're trying to do with your music, and that's probably the most important. Okay, so you can see back on the manuscript paper here, I've got the rhythms that I wrote out before for A, B, C and D. And you can see that I've noted underneath which pitches I'm going to play for each of those notes. So the last thing we need to do is just to write it out as neatly as we possibly can. Now, if you've got an Apple Pencil, please do go ahead and just annotate, just draw onto the screen. If you haven't, you really need to print the manuscript paper out before you write on it. Otherwise, it just won't be neat enough. So there's my treble clef to start with, and my 4/4 time signature. Again, notice it's not a fraction. There's no horizontal line in between it. And remember, we need this key signature. Father Charles goes. So there we go. Okay, so we're ready to go in A major. So the first A, the other thing that I guess we need to think about is just which A that is. That's really important. It's the A above middle C, which is just here. So I'm going to start by drawing the dots in. E, F sharp, E, C sharp. And the wonderful thing about the key signature is that you don't need to keep writing sharps and I guess flats in. Okay, so then let's put the beams and the stems in the right direction. Because all the other notes in this bar are above the middle line, the stems come downwards. So here we go. So that needs a dot there, a line here. So there's my dotted rhythm. There we go, that's bar 1. Now bar 2 within our structure is exactly the same, so I just need to copy it. Notice that I'm filling in all of these note heads. That's really important. If you don't fill them in, they mean something else, or they're just wrong. Okay, don't forget to draw your bar lines as well. So that's my 2A bars. And you can see that I've roughly gone halfway across the page, so that looks nice on the page as well. Okay, the next thing, I need to draw out the B section. So we've got an E, so remember the dots first, E, D, C sharp, D, E. Okay, so let's draw those groups in. So I've got this shape, so that should be a little bit neater there. Again, the note heads are above the centre line, so these notes all go that way up. And the next group is D, C sharp, A. D, C sharp, A. Because there's 2 notes above the middle line, I'm going to have all of them pointing down. Just makes it a little bit neater, a bit easier to read. And the last one is an E. Oh, it's not, it's a B. Okay, so I'll finish that off. Because all the others in that bar have been coming down, I'll put the last note as coming down as well, just so that it looks the same. You're just following along the same there. Now, you can see that I may run out of space here. I'm very fortunate with this because I can grab bits and pieces like this and I can just shuffle them along. You might have to rub them out if you run out of space, so have a think about that while you're doing it. Okay, and then we just need to copy D, E, D, C sharp, A, B. Just about fits in. But you can see the problem I would have had. Gets to the end of the line. Now, something that a few people have been confused with so far as I start the next line is you must draw your treble clef on the stave. It doesn't go before it. And also, at this point, if your music's carrying on, you don't write the time signature again, but you do write the key signature. Father Charles goes. Okay. Then we go into the C, which is E, D, C sharp, B, C sharp, D, E, E. Notice I've tried to space that so it's similar to the bar above. It makes it a little bit easier for a musician to read. So let's draw in those values. So we've got dotted notes here, dot, and then a little line just there. The same again for the next two. And then as we go up the other side, we've got our lemonade rhythm. And to finish off, you've got a crotchet and then a bar line. So let's copy that for the second bar. And when you do this, just be very careful that you don't rush. Take pride in how neat everything looks. Make sure that every dot, there's no question for them to be able to tell whether it's in a space or on a line, that kind of thing. Okay? And finally the D section. A, B, C sharp, D, F sharp, E, A. So let's put those rhythms in. It's not very well drawn, that one, sorry about that. Should have rubbed it out and done it again, really. In fact, I'm going to rub out a little bit of it. That's not good enough. There we go. And the last two notes are... Oh, I've done it wrong. I've drawn the wrong note. That's not good enough, really. It's an F sharp at the top. And then I've got E and A. Put one bar line and then a thicker one. Because it's a double bar, it's the end of the piece. Also, just one last thing. Notice there is no bar line here. That's really important. Okay, and that is our completed task 15.